Blessed Assurance, also known as The Price of Heaven, was released in 1997. This is directed by Peter Bogdanovich. It's written by Joyce Eliason, based on the novel by Allan Gurganus, and we have a cast including Grant Show as Jerry. We have Lori Loughlin as Leslie, George Wendt as Sam. We also have Cicely Tyson, and I genuinely don't know how I feel about this. It's one of those films where sometimes I was really enjoying it, and sometimes I feel like they were trying too hard to throw too many things at it, and that meant that nothing ever felt as powerful as it could have been. And that's not to say a story can't have a lot of different threads, but I feel like if that's the case, they need to be handled a little bit better than they were here. The film focuses on a character called Jerry. Jerry has returned home from the Korean War, and it's basically about his life afterwards, partly focusing on his relationship with his fiancée, Lori Loughlin's character Leslie, and the fact that maybe he wants something different from his life now. He's obviously moved away from the small hometown when he went to war and has experienced a lot more, and now he's going to school and he's learning a lot more about the world, and it's not necessarily clear what the future holds for him, or indeed what he wants. That is not a bad narrative. The other part of it sees him selling funeral services to poor black people. And it's obviously trying to make a bit of a commentary on society at the time and the treatment of certain people. And that in itself could have been interesting as well. But I feel like that part of it was really underdeveloped. But it's, I think, in my opinion, an important topic, and I feel like it needed more time, it needed more weight, it needed to give me a stronger emotional response to that, and I think they could have done a lot more with it. That's not to say that what we got with that was terrible, but I feel like the balance just wasn't quite there, and as I said, I feel like they were trying to have too many things happening in the narrative, so everything that did happen felt a little watered down. I feel like nothing got enough time, or the time that it deserved. So if they'd maybe tried to shift the focus a little bit to one part of the narrative or the other, then I think it could have been a much stronger story. Maybe it's realistic in the sense that, yes, somebody coming home from Korea trying to get a job to earn some money, the state of society at the time means that maybe that job might not be completely honest. Also dealing with thoughts about what they want from the future. Yes, I feel like these are all things that a person might deal with. But in terms of creating an entertaining, thought-provoking, engaging film, I don't think it was very well handled. But as I said, there were times when I was enjoying it. Not necessarily when they were focusing on this or that, just scenes every now and then I thought were quite good. And the character of Jerry I quite liked. I thought he was very easy to like. Even though I didn't always agree with his actions, I still found that he was a very likable character. I definitely felt like he was quite lost and trying to find his way. I feel like that came across really well. And Lori Loughlin and George Wendt were great. George Wendt's character, it's a random fact, but he wears a white suit and it looks great. I think it looks really, really great. Yeah, Lori Loughlin's character was very likeable as well. I don't know exactly how accurate the costumes are and things, but they look great. It felt atmospheric. I felt like I'd been transported back in time. So that definitely works in the film's favour. And as you can see, I have a lot of positive things to say and some constructive things, and that does pretty much put me in the middle. I don't know how I feel about it. There were some good things, there were some not some good things. It could definitely be better, but that being said, I didn't hate it. I really didn't hate it, and that's not just with my bias, with my love of Lori Loughlin and George Wendt. I have to say, when I found out they were both in this film, I was very, very excited about that. George Wendt's not in a tremendous amount. Lori Loughlin's in a good amount. And yeah, I was very, very excited. And also, it took me a long time to find a copy of this that wasn't extortionate, just as a random fact as well. I ended up buying I think it's the German Region 2 version on eBay. One person in the UK was selling a copy of this DVD. It's English language, of course, but it was the German release. And everywhere else was a US import, which I was going to do, but it was extortionate. And then somebody randomly on eBay one day was selling this Region 2 German release, and I was just very, very excited. Was it worth the wait? Was it worth the excitement? I'm happy enough. I had a lot of high hopes for this. There were a lot of things about this that could have worked really well for me. And in general, they did. So I guess I can sum up by saying the narrative could be stronger. It definitely could be better. But ultimately, I still enjoyed the experience. And I'm very happy to recommend it. If you're in the UK, good luck, because it was difficult. It took me quite a few months to find a copy of this. I was very close to giving in and buying an import at an extortionate price. But thankfully, that one person on eBay, I thank them so much, because it was, I can't remember how much it was, but it was less than £10. So you can imagine how much the US imports were, if that's what I'm considering not expensive for a film of this age. Either way, I enjoyed it. I'll stop rambling. It's been quite an experience with getting hold of this and then watching it. Blessed Assurance, or The Price of Heaven, has been an interesting experience for me. The film could be better, but ultimately it's not bad, and I am happy to recommend it.